want to catch back up on, she will make sure that's available for you so you can go back as we go on. So let's get started. I'm just going to share my screen. So firstly, I want to start by looking at this wonderful piece of art that you have created. Isn't that wonderful? Now, when I've done this in the past, there's a reason as to why I do it, and it's to prove a point. The first point is that I can give you one very simple instruction. What can we draw as a team? And collaboratively, as a group of individuals, you have managed to create this collage. I wouldn't be selling it in an art store, but I can assure you it's a pretty damn good piece of work. So we're kind of identifying how, as a teacher, I've facilitated a very simple process using a tool that is available. And that's really the intention of tonight's class. So I am going to share with you this Padlet board, and this is a load of the tools that we're going to be looking at tonight to help assist you in your own classroom. We're going to be looking at some warm-up activities and some websites that look at things we can do in our class. We're then going to be looking at some little games, bits and pieces, some timers and stuff that we can use as tools to help support us. I then want to look at some PBL, some problem-based learning classes, and I want to look a little bit at philosophy, again, just to help support this idea of communication skills whilst using Zoom to help support our learners. And then I want to finish today by looking at one of the things that I think a lot of children are really going to miss out on at the moment, which is those school trips, which are so important in terms of their learning, their curriculum, and also when a lot of them are stuck indoors, I want to look at some tools for creating virtual school trips. So you can either do them for your curriculum or you can do them just as a fun day out for them. And I'm going to be showing you some tools so you can still take children out on a school trip, but from the safety of their home. That's there. So I want to start by looking at that first tool that I shared with you tonight, and this is called Sketch Together. Now, Sketch Together, if you click straight on the link, here it is a whiteboard activity. And the thing that is great about this is that you can use it as a very quick tool for engagement. The main thing with it, there's no login required if we're using just a basic package. So here I go, I've logged on to Sketch Together, and then I hit Sketch Now. And there we go. I have created my whiteboard. Now with this, you do have an hour before it gets deleted. If you sign up for the free trial, then you get to stop it from being deleted and it saves it. But I'm looking at how can we use this tool as a quick starter? How can we use it to build an idea? Now, once I've got this tool here, which I have, as you've seen, we've got the pen for writing, we've got the highlighter, we've got the different shapes that we can use, arrows, erasers, we can move it around, we can add pictures, we can also add coding in if we wish to add coding, and we can add text. Now, if I want to share this with my students, all I do is I copy the web link at the top. So I'm just going to copy that web link, and then I'm going to put that into, let's open up another toolbar, and I'm just going to paste it. So I can put that web link either into my Google Classroom, into my Teams, into my Zoom chat box, and I can share that with another student. Now, on each student's screen, on the right-hand side, I can add a name. So I always say to them, add a name. So say I'm going to add Jules. There's Jules. Fantastic. And on my second person, I'm going to put their name. There's me. I'm going to change my name to, there we go. So now I can see I've got Jules in the classroom and I've got Frank. And I've got this whiteboard to play around with. Now, the thing with this I'm going to go on about is going, well, how can we use this in our classroom? What ideas are coming to fruition straight away? And I am going to pick on a person who's happy to speak. So who here would be happy to unmute and just go, I have an idea straight away. How could we use this in our setting? What do you think, Helen Edwards? I love it when you see the fear in people.
I could suggest something.
Oh, go for it. And then Helen could go after you. Go for it.
So I was just thinking with my year 8s, next week, we're starting a new topic on food chains and food webs. So, I could give them the habitat and just go make a food web, and all of them could work on this together. It'd be brilliant.
Simple. And that's fantastic. And your role there as a teacher is to facilitate that process through a tool. Thank you very much. Sorry, what was the name of that individual? Sorry.
It's Kaylee Darlington.
Sorry.
Go again, sorry.
Kaylee.
Thank you, Kaylee. Helen, I picked on you. Go for it. What's your idea?
Well, I teach younger children, so sort of the year 2 bracket. So I suppose if just as like a starter, you could just do that simple, like how are you feeling today? Drawing, happy faces, sad face, something like that. Just a little starter.
Exactly that. Yeah, brilliant. Oh, this is great. I'm really happy. Thank you. Something like that. Happy face. How are you feeling today? Share your expression on there. It's about using this tool to meet the needs, and we can see how we've got it from one extreme of going, okay, we're going to get human food chains, we're going to do this, to a simple icebreaker. Pictionary, draw your favorite movie, and everyone else on the Zoom call has to guess what that film is, or draw one of your a classmate, and everyone has to guess who is that classmate, or draw one of your teachers. It's about bringing a bit of fun using a very simple tool. We're always thinking about how can we break them in, and this is called Sketch Together. The thing I like about it, it's simple. There's no silly logins. The learners don't have to have a login. All they have to do is, once you share that URL with them, the web link, they just click on it and they're in. And that's the great thing about it. And you've already proved it with your quite dreadful piece of art. I won't lie. It's not bad, actually. But all I gave you was one instruction. What can we draw as a team? And you came together with this. And then someone wanted the meeting to hurry up. So that's fine. So that's Sketch Together. So thank you for that. It's a really kind of great ideas. And thank you for, I know sometimes people don't like it when they have to participate, but I really do appreciate that. So again, let's keep on this theme of the icebreakers and the warm-up. And there's loads of websites out there which look at just talking and discussing games. So I've put a link on here to a few websites really that give us things such as word association games. How can we wake students up when they first come in the room? And there's a few websites I love on here, which just give us some ideas. Rhyming words. The chain game is a very simple one again, where I start with a word, the next person then has to say a word, but it must start with the last letter of the previous one. So I could say elephant, and then Beth would say
tiger.
Lovely, good. And then I could say rhino, but we could also base it on that theme of the session. So say we're looking at countries. Okay, well, let's try and do a word game based on that. And this website's got some really great, simple activities that we can use. Again, it's about collaborating, it's about sharing, it's about getting students excited. And I really rate, if you've not used them at all, look for things like Esl Class Resources, because this is what I share for a lot. So English is a second language. They've got loads of communication games and communication resources for us to use, which can be used on an online platform. Another website to help support us for this is, again, this is from a drama website that I use quite a lot, which is Medium. And on here, people are always sharing different activities which can be used using Zoom. And a lot of them have been taken and they've been utilized and they've been altered to help benefit that classroom. This is where all the drama teachers come out and they go, yes, we are here and we are proud. If you've got friends who are drama teachers, go and find them and grab them, because they're going to be one of the most useful platforms you're going to have around you. how else can you make an Oxbow Lake exciting? Let's get a drama teacher, and that'll really support. Again, with the Zoom one, if you're using Zoom, playing things with the virtual background. Again, it's getting them comfortable with the digital technology. It's getting them to bring a little bit of individuality to the setting. You know, you can see Beth's picked, actually, I think that's her back garden, but other people may have where they live or a favorite film. So I've put on here these different drama games that can be played, especially if you've got to bring in, maybe use it as an icebreaker between larger activities. I was reading a few reports which is looking at the health and fitness of young people due to the amount of time they're spending online. And drama games are a great way of getting them up and about. Okay, we're going to spend 5 minutes and we're going to do a few physical activities using Zoom. And this website here has got hundreds of different improv drama activities which you can get access to, which are really quite simple for us. I've picked on a few people, but has anyone here used any sort of drama games in their classroom using Zoom, and how did that help? Who would be happy to talk about that? This is where it all goes very quiet. I can tell I've got no drama teachers because they'd be like, I have an idea. Chloe Stevenson, I'm going to pick on you.
I've not done anything. I'm a supply teacher and predominantly art, so I haven't done anything like that.
Oh, would you have any ideas? Do you think how you know, the role of drama? Have you heard of anything, or would you like to pick on somebody else so I don't attack you anymore?
Can I pass the ball over to someone else?
You can pass.
I don't mind. I'll share, Julian.
Fantastic. Thank you, Lisa. Go for it.
I did creative schools in my previous life as a primary school teacher. And one of the activities we did was called back-to-back drawing, where the children, one child has a picture, the other one has to draw it from the descriptions. But I actually did it on the online platform with some students this week, actually. It just meant that I had to send them the pictures in advance. There was a bit of planning required there, but they were like really engaged, and because they were really engrossed in it, I kind of got their attention then, and they got on with the bits that weren't quite so interesting for the rest of the lecture. But that was really good to flip it out.
Fantastic. Yeah, I love that one, because like, straight away in my head I'm thinking, oh, maybe you could give them a country they've got to draw, and they've got to try and draw it for the others, and they got to guess what country have they drawn, or a famous person from history, because you can put it in the chat box. You can send it as a private message to them and say, oh, I'd like you to draw this for the group. And that is, again, thank you for sharing that. It's really appreciated. Again, it's about the simplicity of the digital tools in the classroom to really engage. So that's brilliant. Thank you so much for that. Now, the next one I want to look at is, this is a website called Mural, which I stumbled across really recently. And it's very similar to something that we've used before with regards to visual collaboration. So it's very similar to Padlet and Stormboard, which we've used. But the thing I like about this is, firstly, you can sign in using if you have a Microsoft account with Teams, you can just sign in straight away with that. But it has some absolutely fantastic templates. So Mural, for those that have not seen it before, is a collaborative sharing board where you can send a link out and people can all come on and participate in that learning. Now, the thing I love about it, again, are these templates for us as teachers. So, for example, we've got here, let's have a look, the selfie sketch. So we click on this, we go create Mural, and it creates us this template of which we can send to students. So it's just going to generate it for us. Now, on this board here, we can share it via an invite link. So, or we can send it as a visitor link. So a visitor link if they don't have an account, which is perfect for our students. We can also embed it into our Moodle page if we have that. But once we share it on this one, what they do on here is they can get given the job, and you can assign numbers to them. and they have to draw themselves. And they can use these little, there's these little kind of pits they can add on. So it's got all these little templates for them. But the thing I love about it is the fact that you've got these pre-built templates. They're nice and simple. You can play around with it. Again, you can share it with your group, but it's about making the text simple for you. So when you come online, you can go, oh, I need an icebreaker. Brilliant. Here's one with a whole host of different things that I can use and really engage with. And this is Mural. This is on the name games, really, which I've put there for you. So next up on my list, I'm going to go to my timer. Now this one I'm going to come back to a few times. This is a website called onlinestopwatch.com. Now this one, again, I was looking for something, because what happens, as just discovered then, was sometimes picking on people, especially in the classroom, is a little bit, it can go one of two ways. I can either, unfortunately, pick on somebody and make them feel awful. I really do apologize for that, Chloe. I just picked on you there. But I was looking for something that can just generate a name for me automatically. And this website here, onlinestopwatch.com, has a whole host of different tools we can use for our Zoom classroom. So I'm going to go to random name pickers. Now in the random name pickers, what I have here is I can create either a name or a wall, and I'm going to go for a name. So let's go to this name one. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to, let me just pop you guys to one side, and I go to the wheel, the setting wheel there. Now what I can do is I can get rid of all the names that are in there. So let's just get rid of all these. Don't need all these people. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the people who are unfortunately in the room. Let's see. I won't pick on you, Chloe. You're safe. Let's see who else I've got here. This is great, because what you're going to see, if you look very carefully, is the fear that comes into people when they see that their name is being put on my wheel of misfortune, I'm going to call it. Who else am I going to pick on? Oh, I see there. You're not getting away. You are looking all far too happy. So once I've gone here, I've gone to set, and I'm going to go full screen on this, because now what I've got is, lost all my names. I didn't save it, my bad, sorry. So let's go back. Oh, that means I saved all those people, so they don't have to endure. So top tip, when you do it, make sure you hit save. There you go. There we go. I'm just going to pick 4 people that are there. Save. Thank you. There we go. Okay. So now what I've got on my wheel of misfortune is I can have a name picker. I can put my students on. I can give them a problem. So say, for example, I'm going to go, okay, we're going to look at what things can we do when it's raining outside. And I'm going to hit spin. And then it's going to go round. And we're going to go Claire Rain. You are the winner, which means, unfortunately, you have to unmute and you're going to answer a wonderful question. Are you ready? Oh, you are muted, which means I can't hear you. But is that your way of trying to get out of it? There
I said, put our wellies on and get out there. Just play as normal, because I also work for an outdoor centre.
Brilliant. I've picked on the right person for it. How do you think, something like this, a spinner, where do you see it benefiting, especially within your own setting, Claire?
Mainly I teach older students, GCSE and A-level, and they can be a little reluctant to contribute. But as soon as you put a little bit more pressure on them, they can come up with some brilliant stuff. So it's really useful. I usually use one, but not as fancy a one as this.
Ah, fantastic, brilliant. Okay, I'm going to pick on one more person to see if they can identify maybe something else. Claire, I can't pick on you again, so I'm going to have to kind of pick somebody else for it. But I want you to think about how else could we use this. So, Ree Quinn, you can't hide.
Hello.
How else could we use this spin wheel? How else could you adapt it maybe for your setting?
I use one actually with my year 7s and 8s because you often get the same kids putting their hands up in class. So it's a good way of judging all students and giving everyone a chance to speak when I ask certain questions rather than just the same kids.
Lovely, brilliant. Thank you so much for that, Ree. Really appreciated. Again, we're highlighting this, it's an ability to share it. You know, I've used this in the past for, I've put topics and I've put them into groups and said, oh, what topic will you get to? I want you to talk about maybe a subject we looked at last week. And I can put the subjects in. It doesn't have to be a name. I could put in here, I've got a thing for it today. I don't know why, but I'm going to put in there Oxbow Lakes. And maybe someone else is going to talk about canals. Someone's going to talk about rivers. I don't know. But I can create that as my wheel and I can spin that around for them and go, okay, Sophie, in your team, you're going to be telling me all you know about canals from last week. Again, it's a simple tool to help Sophie. They go, I know nothing about canals. They're long, really long. But again, it's a kind of just a number generator. That's all it is. Now, I do love this website for quite a few different things, which is being quite beneficial. So not just the random name pickers, classroom timers. So there's a whole host of different ways on here of, you know, I used a quick timer just to give 30 seconds and talk about something that happened in the week. You can have these fun ones. So, you know, if you wanted to have a rocket timer, once it's loaded up, I set the time in there. So say they've got 10 seconds, I hit set and go, okay, so you're going to talk for 10 seconds about a subject before the rocket flies off. And it kind of, there we go. Thank you. So there's quite a few different ways of having the timers on there for them. So you can have it as a sprinter, BMX, but it's just an engaging way of especially setting out different activities and go, okay, well, I'm going to put a timer on. I'd like you to go away for 5 minutes. I can share this on my whole screen. So let's set this for 5 minutes. And there we go. And we can start it. So now the students can see how long they've got to stay focused on a task for. Now, the thing with the number ones, a few may go, well, a few little issues with the number ones. It can be a little bit intimidating, but they've also got on this website quite a few sensory timers, which are really good for supporting students with additional learning needs who may not want to have that number as a countdown. It can be a little bit scary or worrying for them. So they've got different things on here. I have a particular, I have a real fascination with like the kinetic timers. Again, very much like the last time, I set how long I want it for, hit start, and it's just a nice way they can follow it. They know that by the time all the balls have gone through, that will be the end of that activity. So it goes through for them. Has anyone got any thoughts or ideas with regards to use of timers in the classroom? How have they found it in their setting? Who would like to share an idea? I won't pick on people, but I'll pick on Carrie because her finger was doing this by the unmute.
Yes, I was just about to say that I've used this many times and I really benefit from it because I do supply in different classes and I think it works great with all ages, especially if you're on a certain theme. I was teaching about Usain Bolt one week and the runners one was great because it would go with a theme and how fast he could run. So yeah, I really like this website as well.
Oh, fantastic. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
I love the idea that you've continued a theme with it. And I think it adds that little bit of enjoyment to the activity. You know, you can have the sheep and bits and pieces. So that's great. Thank you. I'm not sure if, the one thing I always loved on this was the idea of the chance games. And there's quite a few different things on here, but I had I don't know, maybe it's quite sad of me, but I was quite enjoying playing hook a duck. So we can have it as if the students answered a question, they got the chance to hook a duck. So, you know, if they got the question, they answered it, go, okay, which duck do you want? And they say, oh, the fourth one from the left. I go, oh, yeah, it's not the one. There's so much on here that is, again, it's equipping the teacher with a list of methods to help support them in what they do in the classroom. It engages the students and it allows them to really play around and, you know, focus on the learning. So that's under the timers and sensory timers. That's quite nice. Again, with this idea of engaging students, unfortunately, I'm not sure if anyone knows, but Flash Player is no longer anymore, which meant that some of you may have known that Woodland School did a great countdown game. Now, I was gutted when that went, but do not worry, because there is another countdown game that is available. Now, if you don't know what countdown is, everyone knows what countdown is. I'm just going to assume that everyone knows what countdown is. But again, it's a nice little go, okay, guys, once we do this, we'll have a quick game and we'll quickly play around with it. So they can just pick the numbers they want and they can go with this. Now, this one I particularly like over, oh, shush. It will also show us potential answers. And I think this is the one that I found previously it didn't really have on any of the others. I could also check a word that a student gave me. And I think that's what makes this one quite a good little countdown game for them. You could also get the students to go, okay, this is a word. Do you want to get your online dictionary or do you want to get your physical dictionary and check it out? Again, what's the skills the students delivering? It's not about how well they play countdown. It could be, can they use their dictionary to the highest standard? Maybe you give them the challenge of it's got to be a word in Welsh or Spanish or French. Choice is yours. You can also adjust the length of the clock timer, which I always quite liked because I found sometimes that countdown can be a little bit scary for them. It can be a bit off-putting, but we can combine this with the other stopwatch we've got. So they can write down the words. They've still got the theme there and they can play around with it. And then we can still check the word against the list that's available. Again, the good thing with this one, it also has the numbers for them. So let's put the numbers. Now this one, not my strongest forte was the maths one, but I can, once it's got to the end. Thank you. I'm just going to refresh that one. I've pressed a button. What it will also do is it will show you again the answers as to how to solve that maths problem. And that's always quite a good one, especially if you've got, you know, if you want to do it as a fun activity, it allows the students to see, okay, well, do you want to check it out and make sure it works? So that's a great little tool that I found. Again, we can connect it with the timers. Maybe we could give them the maths one and they go on the iSketch app and they share their ideas and they play around with it and go, okay, guys, I'm going to give you 5 minutes to see if you can solve it as a group. And they work together and they formulate their ideas on that interactive whiteboard. Again, the focus isn't on the tech, the focus is on the collaborative learning through the digital classroom, which is a really good one for them. So that's quite nice. Okay, the next section I want to look at is something a little bit different, really. It's continuing this idea of communication and collaboration using Zoom or Meet or Teams. And again, it's just a website for us to think about. And this website is for Philosophy for Children. Now, this one here, it's an American website, but it's got some really great free resources that are for us. And if we're thinking about either icebreaker activities, short breakout room activities, this website, if we go to the resources, has some great lesson plans to help equip us with some information, some idea. So again, we've got the warm-up activities for philosophy sessions. And we can give them these example questions. and put them into small groups to share. Now, sometimes with the idea of teaching philosophy to children, there's some people a little bit, oh, shall we? Is it a bit above? Is it a bit below? But there's so much evidence and research out there which highlights the benefit of teaching philosophy in education, that we should really be using it as much as possible. Those who've read Matthew Lipman or Robert Fisher, huge amount about this idea of teaching children thinking. So this website here, apart from having lesson plans that we can follow, here we have the questions. It has a series of games for them to play, ethical dilemmas. It also has some great links to some podcasts and videos and webinars. Again, thinking about the level of that student. We've got it from children's stories, very much like Lipman stories, going up a little bit further in the levels. And that's always quite a good one for us to kind of use. So I do say, if you do get the chance, maybe have a look at it and go, okay, I'm going to try it as an icebreaker activity for our students. And that's always quite a good one. I've also put on here, this is P4C, which is reasoning activities. Now, it is set for different ages. This is an American website, so it's not linked to our curriculum. But we can kind of see a little bit about, so if we say, let's go answers, question and truth, it is kind of set for that age group. Now, the expensive ones that you got to pay for. There are some free ones on there, which you can get access to. And it's about, again, giving us some little tools to get us started, to get us thinking, and again, get students talking when they're on their Zoom class. So they're not just individuals in a room, they're able to share their ideas and go forward from there. Now, the next bit I want to really start looking at is this idea of discovery learning and problem-based learning. And I'm going to spend a little bit of time of looking at this. But I want to look at this idea of the school trip. And the school trip has started to, I think it's a fundamental element in a lot of children's classes that has started to go, unfortunately, because of lockdown. So I want to look at going, well, how can we take the school trip and bring it to us here online? Now, Discovery Education has a whole host of free resources available, again, very much focused on this problem-based learning approach. So they have a lot of different activities and games that you can share with your students and free worksheets. But it also has these virtual school trips, these virtual field trips. So if we click on those. So they're quite long, so you can pause and stop them. So we've got here one about the Queen, we've got Shakespeare. And all of these, again, the big thing that I'll say is that idea of pausing, allowing for discussion, pausing, allowing for discussion. And that's Discovery Education. And I've put that on the web link for us. So when I first saw that, I thought, well, how else can we bring the school trip to the classroom? So I thought, okay, well, let's see what other websites are available. What other websites are there to help support this idea of the school trip? Because remember, all of these, once you've got them on there, can be shared using Zoom or Meets. Now, the Museum of Modern Art has a huge amount of different exhibitions that since lockdown, they have put as a virtual gallery for people to explore. So they've just put a large amount of, this is Van Gogh's Starry Night. Here we go. And they've put these virtual views on. So if we go to the exhibition, where is it? There it is. Here we go. So they've got the videos for it, but there we go. They've also got these great websites where the students can actually engage a little bit more into the piece of art, and they can play around and they can look through it. And here we go. There we go. It's loading the 3D model. And they've started to do this with a lot of the artwork that's available on there. So the students can really get to grips with looking at the art that's available in a way that they would never have done if they actually went to a library. You can encourage them and go, okay, well, today you're actually going to play around with art that's out there. Maybe they could go and do some research on it. Tell me a little bit more about this. And it's quite differentiated for a fair few levels. So you can either show them the piece of art, maybe get them to draw their own, or here we've got a few videos about it, looking at it from a, this is from a, I think it's an astrophysicist who looks at the picture. And there's a great way of really kind of going into it. And this is the Museum of Modern Art. And I've put that on there. We've also got this website, which is the school trip. Now on here, they've put a great list of free virtual tours that are available for students to engage with. So here we go, Museum of London Suffragettes online exhibition. And we can go view the virtual session. So what they've done on here, because of the lockdown and everything, they have taken all of their museum activities and they've put them online the same way as it would be in the museum itself. So the students can still engage and they can still see information. They have a number of bits and pieces there. They've got the information. And it's a great way of getting these free school trips for the students. So other topics there for them. The Titanic one is always of particular interest for a lot of people. So again, you can give them the list. You can say, okay, you're going to go on the school trip. I would like you to go around and have a look at what's available. They also will connect the session to different learning needs and different curriculum methods. So that is the schooltrip.co.uk. And it's a great website really to showcase what things are available for them. You can filter it based on the age group that you have. If anyone wants to go to the Bath Record Office, they can go to the Bath Record Office. Maybe not my favourite trip, I can assure you. Now, if you want something a little bit more laid back, I was looking at this earlier actually, the Seattle Aquarium has got a great deal of things on here for young people. They've got these virtual field trips, which they've started to put online now for you. So if we go to the virtual field trip, you know, you can say to your students, okay, today we're going to go to, you know, underwater. And there we go. And what they've done is they've started to film all of the things they would actually do if you went to that aquarium. And they've got voiceovers and they've put them on here for you. So again, you can set them a task of watching the video and making notes or giving them little bits and pieces. But my favorite thing on all of this is the live streaming webcams. Whether it's educational or not, I don't care, but I was quite enjoying watching the sea otters because they got loads of live webcams on there. So here we go. So you can have it on in the background. Oh, and if we're lucky, you may see a live otter. But again, it's something a little bit interesting. It's something a little bit different for them to engage with. I think they're being fed. But there's loads of websites out there which have these webcams for people to engage with. This would be rubbish if there's no seals. There he is. No, it's not. That's water moving. Yes, Laura Downing's put on there. San Diego Zoo has also got quite a few, and that's great. Now, I've put a list on there of, there's a website which is the Google Earth trips. Someone's just put another website on there. If you can, any websites you know put them on this Padlet board when I share it out. That would be great. I've put on here Google Earth has got some trips, but I want to look at this website called Tour Builder. Now, Tour Builder is where we start to really move up the next level. And this is our virtual school trips. So what I'm going to show is I'm going to show you how to get this started. Now, say I'm going to call this one Castles of the UK. Okay, I'm going to call that my name. Now you sign into this using your a Google account, or you can use a Gmail account if you've got one. What this gives you the opportunity to build your own school trip. So I'm going to start with, I'm going to add a photo. So let's go for search for images. I'm going to go castle. I'm just going to put my name. Nice castle, lovely. And I go, in this school trip, we will go to a few castles. There we go. Hopefully you'll write something much better than me. So that'll be fine. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go add location. And I can just type in here a location. So say I'm going to go to Conway Castle. There we go. Now what this is going to do is it's going to start building my list. So yeah, I want that castle. I'm going to add that to my tour. I can add further videos or photos if I've got them, and I can add some information. This is a castle. Again, you may want to put some more bits in there. But what I really like about this is you can add the links to it. And this is why I think with the link is so key for the school trip, because we could create something. Say we create a Google form, and we can make a worksheet to go alongside our school trip. So let's create a worksheet for our school trip. So castles, school trip. And we can put a question. Where is the first castle? Where is the first incorrect spelling of castle? Change it to short answer. And again, we can add quite a few different questions for there. I can make this as a share link, so I can go to send. I'm going to take a link, copy that link, go back to my tour builder, link to question paper. There we go. Fantastic. So now I've put my question paper to start my quiz. Let's go add location, and let's put another castle in here. So let's go, there we are, Carnarvon Castle. I'm going to add that to my tour. Again, I can add some information, very much the same. Let's put my next castle in. This is where I start to run out of castles. Go. And I can add this to it. Now, once I've finished my school trip as such, I hit done editing. And that now is saved, and I can go to share, and I can share this link, and I can give it to my students. So let's go to my web page, put in their school trip, and here we go. I'm now my student, and I've seen my teacher sent me on a school trip. I go, oh, okay. So what am I going to do next? So what can our student do? Well, we're giving them the guide as to where they're going to go. They can drop their little Street View man on there. And the great thing with this is that you've got such good availability, especially for these key places, really, where they can explore, especially in some of the venues. I've put a list on here, which is just here, which is places, really good places for them to visit. There's a link to the question paper, so the student can click on that, take them to their question paper that we've very quickly built. But we can really start to play around Then we go to our next part of the school trip. Where's our next part? There it is. It's Carnarvon Castle. So again, gives them the option to drop it and go, that's a nice castle. Wonderful. And then we can go to our next castle. Lovely. It's a wonderful castle. But there's so many different places that the Google Earth has really created this fantastic set of virtual tours. So we can start to build all these core ideas, problem solving, critical thinking, engagement, and this ability to collaborate and share through these tools. And they're all available. They're free of charge for them to use. And I really do like how they work. So let me just go back to that one there. So this is if you've not played around with it yet, I really do rate using the Google Earth tours that are on there. I'm just going to close down some of these windows. So all of these ones here that I've put the links for, they come with the videos. So again, you can create yourself a Microsoft form. Oh, Tour Builder is getting shut down at the end of July. But from what I understand, it's not true. It's going to continue going. But it is going to be available until the end of July. So on this one here, it's very much like a tour builder where they have kind of gone in a little bit. They've built these tours for people, for your students, and you can link it to the bits and pieces. So here I'm just zooming in and you can really engage with it. Other tours that are available, they've got the UNESCO World Heritage Sites, they've got that's Mars. There's so much available to get people thinking and talking and playing with it. And that's really quite beneficial of it. Is there anything at all that you'd like me to kind of come back and recap on at all? There's so much information there. The main thing I want to do is kind of get you thinking about different ideas. Is anything that's jumped out and gone, okay, I've got an idea for this? Because I'd love to share a little bit more practice rather than just me talking about what I think. Or do I have to get my spinning wheel out and get you kind of talking? What do you think, Reese Hancock? You're muted. I'm going to get that as a t-shirt.
Mute.
There we go. Hello.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you. What sort of things are...
Hi. Yeah, I'm actually just retiring, but I am tutoring, and I'm normally working with kids who obviously need some extra input. And so normally that would be a very physical demonstration, which is why some of these examples are fabulous. So I'm generally asked to teach more maths than literacy. So I'm looking for opportunities to develop that. And the classic skills and counting and 4 rules and measuring and chart building that I would need to do with my typical tutoring.
With all of those, you can, especially unfortunately with some of those subjects, it's about hiding sometimes. And taking something like these digital school trips is kind of thinking, well, you know, okay, you're gonna plan your own trip, but you've got to do it at a certain distance. How can I combine it? How can I work that out? In next week's session, I think a few people has put some of the quiz activities. And in next week's session, I'm looking at a lot of the quiz learning games that are out there. Again, that timer one, if you get the chance to have a look at that, there's loads with dice and numbers for random calculations and playing around with, and that's really useful.
And that's because I'm used to using that digital stopwatch. I've used it a lot, but I hadn't realized it had so many extra facilities. So it's worth exploring that one.
Yeah, I really rate as well. I did a session in the summer looking at using Onenote. And Onenote has some great equation calculation software on there. where you can create automatic worksheets and self-quizzes and self-assessment tasks.
Yeah.
And it also has tools on there where it will tell them different ways to solve an equation they've written. So I think either we'll find the link back to when I explained how that worked, which is on our YouTube page with Wolf, or what I'll do is remind me for next week, and I'll do a little guide on using OneNote for maths.
Excellent, thank you.
That's all right, thank you. That's okay. Anybody else got anything that's popped up tonight and they've gone, oh, I feel I could adapt that and would like to share with your group? Go for it. Who would like to go for it, Helen?
You know the trip builder thing. Is there a way that you could? So I'm thinking about. I do sort of lots of outdoor things. Is there a way that I could like choose? Do I have to use just images from the web, or can I use photographs that I've taken or anything like that to make it more local? And
you can add your own picture on there.
Okay, that's good.
But you'll be amazed at, so say for example, if I just share my screen again, I'll show you this one. This is why I really liked it, was just how much, you know, if we wanted to, I could make a trip to my house.
Yeah, but yeah, I just thought it'd be quite nice to do sort of build up local maps and things like that with it.
Yeah, so what you've got here, you know, you can, when you add a photo, you can add it from your own album, or you can upload it.
That's brilliant.
Say, for example, I'm going to add a location. Say I'm going to go, I'm going to go to Oswestry. Okay, so I can go to Oswestry and I can move my marker to say somewhere specific. So say, I'm going to put it, I'm going to drop it there. Okay, so I'm going to add that to my tour. But I can also then add photos and videos, and I can add those ones to this here to enhance the story. So what might be good, you can put a few photos and videos in there and then go, okay, on the street view, I want you to now go find that thing.
Yeah, that's exciting. I like that.
So then like the students can then take a screenshot as to where that item is. I don't know, say you got to find a local car park. And a man with a shopping bag. There he is. It's you can do that and you can play around with it, but it covers so much now, the Google Earth, that you can really play with it. And I love the idea that you've said there of using that personal connection. It's really going to engage a lot of students. So, yeah,
that's really good. That's great. Thank you.
That's okay. Anyone else got anything else that kind of jumped out and they'd like to share an idea? That's Or do I, or am I going to unfortunately pick on somebody? See, I love how everyone's hidden their cameras.
I don't mind. I'll talk again, Julian. I'll help you out. I don't mind being picked on.
Go for it, Lisa.
We used to do lots of really good tours around Wrexham, and obviously that you can't do that now in school. And I would kind of use that tour where. Because we're doing loads of flipped learning now, where they actually do loads before they come into the classroom, where they could actually do the tour and find out about the buildings that were there in the Victorian times in Wrexham, and collect all that information before they actually came in, and then started doing those collaborative tasks and making their movies and all of that. So it'd be a lot more meaningful for them. Yeah, I like it. It's exciting. Yeah.
It's great. I know local to me where I live, Trevonen, they started putting blue plaques up to honour the World War I veterans who served, and you can actually find them on Google Earth. And you know, you could say to students, okay, I want you to create your own tour, and exactly as Lisa said, flip the classroom, make a tour of where you live, and you're going to share it to your group about things that you really enjoy. So tell me a little bit about your town, and they can create, oh, this is the playground, this is where I really do this is where I met my best friend Matt or something. Because again, what's the core element? You want them to talk, you want students to collaborate, you want them to share, and you want them to engage. It's not about what they create, They could do a tour of their favourite football stadiums if they wanted to. You know, there's also great stadium tours, actually, if you do like football. But you could do one and go, okay, I want you to make one, but at the end of the day, I want them to present. I want them to discuss and share who they are. And that's a big part with all the tools I wanted to do really was to go, how can we use digital tools to engage learners and get them thinking and get them talking? I'd like to say, you know, thank you for everyone who has contributed, who I've picked on. I do apologize if I've picked on you. Thank you again for coming along to these sessions, and I do hope that it has been of use. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the link to the Padlet page. I'm just going to put it into the chat box for you. So if you want to copy it, please take it. If you want to add to it, that would be hugely appreciated, because you know, we get better as teachers through listening to other people and sharing ideas. You know, that sketch app I stole off a student. I'm not going to say that I knew where it was. The student showed me and I went, I'm stealing that. And I really want to see some great ideas shared from all of you. Next week's session, we're going to go back to looking at a few of the quizzes and the quiz software that's out there. I know a few people have put them in there. I'm going to go back and have a quick look at OneNote for those who want to look at the maths element, because there is a quiz element within there. But that'll be for next week with Beth. Thank you again for coming along. I'm going to sit here and do like the 90s TV wave, but go have a lovely evening and I'll see you all very soon. So thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Very much.
Just quickly
Thank
before
you.
you go, can I just ask
Yeah.
a question about Tour Builder, because I'm just having a play with it now.
Yes.
I just wanted to know how to set a quiz, because I was thinking of doing it for my year group as like a pastoral sort of activity.
Yeah. What I would do is, are you on Microsoft or Google?
I'm on Google now.
So what I would do is I'd use Google Forms. And on Google Forms, you can create it as you can set it as a quiz that way.
Right,
And then
okay.
what I did was I shared it as a share link. Have you, not to be rude, do you use Google Forms at all?
Not really, no.
Okay.
Not a fan.
What? Okay, well, you can use Google Forms if you want, or you can use Microsoft Forms. It's very much the same. But if you go to Google Forms, what you can create on here, so let's go to blank. When you go to the settings just at the top, you can change it to a quiz. There we go. And we can save it. So you can set the questions up beforehand. And then what I did was I went to send and I did it as I copied the link. And then that link, when you go to the tour, you can add a link into it. So you can have them open it on their first window. And then as they go through the tour, they can answer the questions on the form page. And the great thing is when they submit at the end, all the answers are centralized. Is there a quiz where children can record their voices rather than typing the answer? That's one for next week, Rhiannon. I'm going to have to go hunt it down. Yeah, I'm sure there is. I will find that. If I can't find it, it doesn't exist. That'll be my mission for next week, Rhiannon. Thank you for that. So, brilliant. Hopefully that's been useful.